Namaskar. It took probably 4 or 5 days, but here is the complete surrender of Zelensky. Just as predicted, he has basically tucked his tail between his legs and he has basically said, I'm ready to sign anything that you would like me to sign. But why was this bravado? Why make a mess of yourself in front of the press in the United States? Why unnecessarily take on Vice President J.D. Vance as well as J.D. Vance as well as President Trump? What was the need for all that? Because eventually you're going to do the same thing. Was it because Trump said that he was going to pause aid to Ukraine? Was that the reason? Well, whatever it was, I think right now we have a lot of people with egg on their faces, Keir Starmer particularly, perhaps Macron too. And what is really going to happen next? We're going to take a look at what is happening by way of a slide deck. There is many more details that are hidden here. I'm going to reveal some of those things to you. And even as we speak, the Attorney General as well as the Director of FBI, they are looking feverishly into a lot of things that I'm going to be mentioning here, especially one question that has been lingering in the top of everyone's mind. Fauci was pardoned. That was, again, a quick question. Why? What did he do wrong, right? In Biden's eyes, what did he do wrong? Why did he pardon Fauci? More interestingly, he pardoned Fauci from 2014. Why so far back? COVID was in 2020. What was the reason for that? All that and more in this session. And I just request all of you to click the like button so we can get the maximum virality as possible. Here we go. Why did Zelensky change his mind and why he still won't end the war? Well, this is the gist of his statement. I would like to reiterate Ukraine's commitment to peace, blah, blah, blah. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We are ready to work fast to end the war, and the first stages could be the release of prisoners and troops in the sky, ban on missiles. You get the usual stuff. Then he says, we do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. And we remember the moment when things changed, when Trump provided Ukraine with javelins. We are grateful for this. I'm wondering if he got his speeches mixed up. If he had said this on Friday, by now we would be already beyond this and looking at what can be done, how peace can be achieved, and everybody would have been really happy. But now, suddenly, after all that thinking, he is now convinced that Ukraine is ready to sign it anytime and in any convenient format. We see this agreement as a step towards greater security and solid security guarantees, and I truly hope it will work effectively. This is essentially a tweet that he put out, and I've got the link for you in the reference section in the description, so do go read it. There are a bunch of things there. Now let's go back a little bit. There is a huge cover-up of bioweapon development that has been taking place in Ukraine. This is the crux of the story I wanted to get to. This is independent of what has happened in just a few hours. This is just breaking. I haven't seen the response from Trump yet. I'm sure there will be one in the next few hours, and we'll come back if needed at 10 a.m. IST to give you the latest on that one. On February 19th, US President Trump called Zelensky a modestly successful comedian, and he has turned into a dictator. And I told you about all that stuff. Everything is now sort of decoded, but there are some mouthpieces of Zelensky that still put out why that martial law declaration is valid and that his leadership is still unquestioned, and so on and so forth. Look, I always phrase my statements with as long as it is constitutionally correct. And in my opinion, even now, Trump might ask for a ratification of this by the Ukrainian parliament. So nobody tomorrow comes and says, no, we didn't know, we don't want it, only Zelensky did it without telling us, because Zelensky has lost his credibility. After saying yes, and then changing his mind, not once, not twice, but 3 times. you lose your credibility completely. I don't know what he's going to do, but my guess is Trump is going to make absolutely sure that there'll be no slip between the cup and the lip. So why this is important, the bioweapon development, is that Ukraine has been involved in this, and it has been linked to the deep state. How did it come to how did it come out? Well, the 𝗤𝗍 project was looking at what money USAID was giving to a project called PREDICT, PREDICT, which unraveled a lot of things. The thing is, what it showed is really surprising, because it goes back to a company called Metabiota, and this is actually Hunter Biden's Biolab company. It is Hunter Biden's Biolab company, and it is based in the United States. And they also have links going back to Anthony Fauci. The pardons for Fauci and Hunter allegedly date back to 2014. So even Hunter Biden is enjoying pardon from 2014. Actually, there's another thing that I've been told, that Joseph Biden has pardoned himself too. It's like the Nehruvian moment when Nehru said, "I, Jawaharlal Nehru, hereby bestow upon myself a Bharat Ratna." So what is Metabiota? It's a San Francisco-based technology company focused on preventing, detecting, and responding to outbreaks and epidemics. Now, the Washington Post has reported that a firm linked to Rosemont Seneca, Rosemont is the magic name under which Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, his brother, everybody has had multiple companies under this name. You need to look at some of our previous videos about Rosemont, and then they have all this Seneca and few other names also. They invest and raised funds for Metabiota, and over 18 million was invested in Metabiota by the US Department of Defense. Yes, that one that has not been audited for 7 years or whatever, many years. So that is going to be audited. So there will be some connects from there also. A small portion of the funding was allocated to Ukraine research programs according to federal contracting records. Since 2005, the US government has partnered with Ukraine, investing $200 million into labs, health facilities, and diagnostic sites. Multiple companies, including Metabiota, have been involved in these efforts. Metabiota's role in US-funded health and biolab projects in Ukraine has raised scrutiny due to political and defense-related connections. Now, there's another story here that is doing the rounds. About a year into COVID, I had put out a video where I said that, look, Wuhan's closing is a must, but that's not all. There are 299 other labs that the United States has funded. All of them are doing something like this, essentially what you call gain-of-function research, and all of them needs to be closed now, today. And I'm talking about 2021. There was no war in Ukraine at that point of time. There are also stories that between Poland and Ukraine, there are several underground tunnels. These tunnels are well developed, developed enough for you to run trains back and forth. And who knows if some of them stop at stations which have direct access to some of these labs. So this is a mess, big mess. This needs to be cleaned out. In my opinion, I think Russia will insist on that. Let's see. The slide deck also predicts that, I think, if I remember correctly. But this narrative about Ukraine and biolab research has been questioned in the past. By who? The current Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr. and 𝗤𝗙𝗎 𝗎𝗏𝗏. And they also, whenever they ask, their questions would be surprised. They would not go through their voice would not be heard. And essentially, people try to put as much kibosh as possible on that. Now, Putin has demanded for a bioweapon investigation. Russia has insisted that a formal investigation into US-Ukrainian bioweapon activities must happen post-war. That means this will probably be included as a requirement into the agreement, so the ceasefire agreement. In fact, they're saying this could be one of the key points in the negotiation. And Putin claims that George Soros and his associates are behind the entire operation. And this inner circles of Trump, such as Elon Musk, 𝗠𝗢𝗙 𝗍𝗫, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., they've all said that there is more going on than meets the eye as far as the Biolab program in Ukraine is concerned. And they are all going to most likely push for transparency. Many speculate that a deeper look in Ukraine's war funding will expose major corruption. I think I've been telling you about this. Social media, there have been lots of claims about many senators and congressmen receiving money, kickbacks from Ukraine funding in the tunes of tens of millions of dollars. The ultimate revelation may tie these financial irregularities to crimes against humanity. The allegations suggest that Zelensky's refusal to end the war is tied to a broader effort to conceal bioweapon research and financial crimes. If hostilities cease, demands for an investigation into US-Ukraine biological weapon activities could expose major political figures and institutions. This appears to be the main reason why Ukraine or Zelensky doesn't want to stop the fighting. The thing is, once US said that we are thinking of pausing aid, suddenly everybody woke up and said, wait a minute, this is what is running the whole operation. Tomorrow salaries won't be paid. And I think people suddenly woke up to a new horrible reality. And I think that's why you are seeing the statement that came from Zelensky that he is ready to do anything, sit and sign anything. But I think at this point of time, Trump would want to be absolutely sure that Ukraine will not be able to weasel out of its commitments this time around. You know, the problem here is this is a totally new angle to this whole conundrum, this whole war, and what it's going to reveal is something that's going to be stunning. Surely Trump is going to push for that, because they said that one of the reasons Trump lost in 2020 was apparently his handling of COVID. And it's very sad that that has been used as one of the reasons to dethrone him. Be that as it may, what has happened in the last 4 years, we all know how much bad water has flowed under the bridges. So let's wait and see how that plays out. But my gut feeling, viewers, is his survival is under stake. He is not going to be around for long. And in fact, it might even be that one of the conditions might be that Zelensky would step down and that Ukraine would have a proper election and vote for a new president under the aegis of UN or something of that nature. I don't know. I'm just guessing this. This part may happen after the deal is signed or before. I don't know. Clearly, I think United States would want to make sure that no matter who's at the helm in Ukraine, the things will keep moving forward. Clearly, Ukraine is a buffer state, and Russia wants Ukraine to be in a certain way. And who's going to get what part of land? What are the mineral rights that's going to be got? All that stuff. Again, things are going to come back to the front burner. That's how I see it. Now, what is going to happen post-war in terms of reconstruction? That's another huge question. Who's going to pay for all that stuff? Again, another question. I think Russia has said we are not going to do anything. Excuse me, sorry about that. Russia has said that we are not going to do anything in terms of covering the expense. That was the starting point. I don't know where it's going to stop. But again, Russia doesn't have full control of the Donbas region, only partial control of those states. Well, whether if Ukraine might say, okay, you move out of everything else, but you can keep the entire Donbas region, that's a possibility. So all these things will get worked out, and we will start playing out all the scenarios for you. Just stay tuned, and I hope you have liked this video. Now I'm going to take some questions from you. Just give me a minute while I line up the questions. That's a good one here. Do you think our assets? I also sometimes think that many high-profile Indian Americans are probably Russian assets. There is some sort of reality in it. 𝗟𝗡𝗏, I don't know. And Project Smiling Buddha says this is BS. He'll go back to warmongering after placating Trump. I don't know. We have to wait and see how this plays out, because it's not just one front here. What about the tariffs? Those things are also going to create a lot of problems. And I don't know what Trump is going to do. Like I said, wait for a few hours. There will be an update, I think, and I'll come back and give you some of the more, because the update will give us an idea as to what Trump administration is prioritizing, whether they want to do this way or they want to go that way, and so on and so forth. Deep state, global radical left warmongers, 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗏, SOROS cronies failed big time by Trump's smart move. Yes, indeed, I agree. Trump is, this one has played well. He has played it well. Just give me a moment, guys, while I, yeah. Oh, by the way, I just released a shorts on how you can install the new app of 𝗓𝗏𝗏 version 2.4.0 or later. This has come out as a shorts. It just dropped before I started this one. It's in the short. We can go and look at that, because there are two new features that we have brought in that app, and one of them is called as exclusive content. Remember, a few days ago I had done part 1 of Shashi Tharoor and Rahul Gandhi, their spat, but I also told you, well, I have a part 2 where I'm going to connect some dots, and this is not available on anywhere else. No YouTube channel I'm going to put it. I'm just going to put it exclusively on the 𝗓𝗏𝗏's app. You can download the version of 𝗓𝗏𝗏's app for Android or iPhone. If it is Android, go to Google Play and search on 𝗓𝗏𝗏's and download the app. The version 2.4.0 is the latest. Do go through that. First, watch the shorts. It tells you all the new features. What is the reason why we are doing the 𝗓𝗏𝗏's app? Why you should probably use that, because you get all your data in one place, and you also get to see the exclusive content. This becomes a success. We'll be adding more exclusive content here. This will not be available anywhere else. That's what I wanted to say. Let me just give me a second here while I line up more questions. There are quite a few questions today. That's good. Even at this late hour for India, or early or afternoon at in the United States, we have so many people asking questions. Okay, we have the questions lined up now. Let me go through them one by one. Sree Iyer App wants to know, is this a part of a deep state master plan to get back in? Sree Iyer App ji, it is possible. They have to be careful, and they have to take measured steps. Like I said, Trump is not going to move in quickly. I think what he will first do probably is he'll say, okay, I will not, I'll remove the pause on Ukraine funding. I'll let the money go. But even that, I think this is the time. See, any concession that Trump gives from this point forward will actually weaken his hand and strengthen the deep state's hand. So he needs to really play his cards right. Let's wait and see what happens. Rajiv G wants to know, I think 𝗠𝗢𝗏 was saying about this lab long ago. When she put out this tweet, Mitt Romney criticized her. Oh yeah, there are a lot of people in Republican Party also who are beneficiaries of a lot of these kickbacks. Oh yes. Desi Stand wants to know, will America drop out from G and teach them a lesson? What is G7? I think G7 ampersand is, yeah, G7. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Look, who's going to take Jagmeet's statement seriously? He's just making a, well, Rahul Gandhi of himself. Aditya wants to know, Sriji, Trump 𝗠𝗏𝗏 of RU asset is once again deep state disinformation campaign. I don't know, Aditya. You have to give him the benefit of doubt. Trump is his own man. You can see he makes his own decisions. And I know a little bit about the inner workings. Trump is his own man. He will listen to people, but the decision is always his, and you can't predict which way he's going to go. He has his own metrics for how he wants to look at things, and he comes up with his own reasoning behind why he chooses something. Waste reduce. IRG, any news on Trump leaving NATO? No. I think that was all something that everybody was speculating, but nobody really thought that would happen, and I don't think that is happening. Let's see, are there any new questions? Oh, there's one last question, and that's all. I won't take any more questions. SUID wants to know, is it true that Trump purposefully not interfering in stock market to make Fed act to reduce rates? NASDAQ and S&P are down almost 6%. I was looking at the stock market just before I came online. It was down by 600 points, and yesterday also it was down by about 200 points. Just give me a second here while I look up what is in the stock market just now, because the stock market closed. Yeah, it's down by 671 points. Is it down by 6%? That sounds a little high, SUID. Be that as it may, just wait. I don't think stock market is as a barometer of what Trump is going to do. There are bigger problems. Sree Iyer App IOS, how long before Trump gets out of UN and NATO? Are the days numbered? I think it would take something bad, really, really bad, for him to move out of NATO. NATO, see, that's see, you don't know what Putin is going to do also. Why do you want to take off all the checks and balances, right? 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗪, yeah, Zelensky is bluffing again. Well, we don't know. See, sometimes what happens is there will be back channel talk. It's not like somebody just wakes up in the morning and types out a tweet, although Trump is known to do that. And they would have done some back channel talks, and then they would have given some sort of a face-saving gesture for Zelensky. Do this, and then we will see what we can do. 𝗔𝗍𝗍, usually presidents don't take their vice presidents on a summit, but Trump took Vance. Which summit are we talking about? G7? I don't know which summit you're talking about, DG, so I wouldn't know which one. But this was just a press, meet the press. It was just a meeting with Zelensky at the White House. In those things, vice presidents are usually present. Anyway, so that's all we have. A lot of interesting things happening. I expect an update in a few hours on this one, and I'll be happy to give you that update, and also a little bit of my analysis. I'm gathering a lot of input from various people who are much more in the know than I am, but I can understand where the currents lead, this way or that way. That's what I was going to tell you. So we'll wait and see how that goes. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.